Hello, spooky crew. Our tote bag drawing is officially closed, and we just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who entered. We are so grateful for the love and the support, and we have loved reading your reviews. Missed the tote? No worries. We're still sending out high-quality vinyl stickers while supplies last. Just email us proof of your rating and review along with your mailing address to thespookydarlings@gmail.com, and we'll get one headed your way. Quick promise, your address is only for mailing the sticker. No emails, no selling info, no funny business, just spooky gratitude. Thanks again for supporting the show. You are the reason we do this.
You are listening to The Spooky Darlings, where three sisters get together and talk about all kinds of things that fascinate and excite us. We are on our cryptid crawl today, and we are bringing you the 19th state, which is the great state of Maine, the lobster state. I'm Emily.
Ooh.
I'm Haley.
And I'm Nettie. And there are 8 states that start with M. I counted this earlier because I was like, oh, we're to the M states. There's a bunch of them. There's 8. Maine,
Wow.
Maine, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana. Wait, I missed one.
Can you sing it, please?
I laughed because you said Massachusetts crazy again. And I know you've been trying so hard to say it right every time you have a chance.
Maine. I forgot Maryland. Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana. I did them all.
Nice job.
So we have 8 states that start with M. Most popular of all the letters to start a state with.
If we're going to rank the alphabet of most popular letter to least popular letter,
M is the most. M is the most for state-wise for the United States.
Yes.
There's so many.
Yeah.
So many M states. So Maine, who wants to go first?
Well, why don't we have Haley go first, and then I can go second or third?
Sure.
And then I'll go second or third
Sounds
as well.
great. Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Well, so just picture this. You're in the woods. You're in Maine, obviously. And you're just wandering around, maybe doing a little witchcraft. I don't know. I don't know what you do in the woods.
Witchcraft?
Just relaxing, really. And then you notice the woods are silent. Too silent. You suddenly see a massive white moose, 10 to 15 feet tall. Not quite albino because it has brown eyes.
Oh.
And it has, you count 22 points on each of its antlers. It seems to almost glow. And as it moves, it does not even make a sound. You've just seen the Specter Moose from Maine.
That sounds glorious.
Spooky, but it is solid? Mm-hmm. Is it solid looking? Like you think it's a real animal?
Yeah,
Okay.
Everybody described it as solid looking.
Okay.
But, okay, so first seen near Lobster Lake in 1891. And the hunter said he was too stunned to raise his rifle, but he goes and tells everyone in town that he just saw this fantastic, massive white beast in the woods, but no one will believe him.
Can we give props to this hunter for not immediately trying to shoot at the creature? I think this might be the first time we've heard of someone not immediately trying to shoot at the creature.
He's the only one because it is spotted a couple more times later, and their first instinct was to immediately shoot.
Oh, man.
And so after that sighting, the next sighting was a few years later, and this hunter says he saw it, he shot it, and the bullet seemed to bounce off of the animal, and the moose did not even startle. And then another hunter from New York says it was as tall as a camel, and his bullet seemed to pass right through the beast.
Oh, man.
And so, to which my thought is, it's a white moose, and you're a bad shot.
Also, I will say, we've seen moose, all of us. We see them probably every year in McCall. Mm-hmm. They're tall.
They're big.
As a camel, right?
Probably. So this one's they're saying it's 15 feet tall, which is quite tall. That's bigger than most moose. And usually they're not 22-point antlers.
No, it's 8 to 12 points on their antlers.
The only camel I've ever seen are the ones that come in that like traveling nativity. Mm-hmm. And I bet that's a small camel, maybe even a dromedary.
Yeah.
You know, so when I did that summer when I was 18, where I worked at the Girl Scout camp, they warned us about how dangerous it can be if you see a moose to like hold really still.
Mm-hmm. They're aggressive.
Because they're blind. Did you know that? They're nearly blind. They rely on their sight.
Oh, is that why they freak out?
They rely on their sight?
No, sorry, not their sight. They rely on their smell and ear sense. What's that called? Hearing. Their ear part of their head.
The sense that they have with their ears.
Yeah, that one.
Almost like echolocation, kind of like a bat.
So, yeah, and like, so if they think that you're in one spot, they'll charge at you. So they said basically like, try to be really still.
Yeah, they're aggressive. I've seen several terrifying videos.
They can run 35 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh, that's
and
scary.
they can swim really fast too. Not quite 35 miles an hour. I think I told somebody once that it did go 35 miles an hour in the water, and that was like a total lie. And then I looked it up later, and it was like 3 to 5 miles an hour. But that's still really fast to swim.
Well,
gosh,
it
yeah,
has the
yeah.
same numbers, 35 miles an hour, 3 to 5 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Practically the
Listen,
same.
I can't be expected to be a moose expert. I'm just telling you the facts that I might know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
quite a sight.
So after a sighting in 1899, it seems like there were sightings every few decades, and some commenters on this say that a pattern seemed to emerge, which is there would be a sighting and then something bad would happen, whether it was like a storm would come in or like a bad event would happen. I didn't see any actual like events connected to moose specter sightings. Emily, did you? Where like
No, I didn't. But you're saying that people were kind of like seeing it as a harbinger of
like an omen.
doom.
I
Yes,
did.
a bad omen.
I feel like I actually saw something just now when I was researching my cryptid that it said there was something, it was spotted in 2002 in front of some business, and then that business burned down
Okay.
the next day or the day after.
So yeah, like a bad omen.
Yeah, like a bad omen, like a harbinger of doom, like the Mothman.
Or could you say almost like the omen before the storm?
Before this.
You know, the calm before the storm.
Oh, yes.
Omen before the storm.
Yes, I was trying to make omen rhyme with storm.
I thought you were going to say I was trying to make omen rhyme with. I don't even know what the word was, but it was going to be a nonsense word. Domen. Okay. And the witnesses say that it's always silent and it almost walks like a ghost, but it seems solid. So like it's, ghosts don't make a sound as they pass you usually, unless they're screaming. And then this does not scream while it moves. Pure white, but with brown eyes and like almost untouchable. A lot of people say it seems to be watching you. Like its presence isn't like the normal like moose passing through the woods. It is watching you.
Yikes.
Maybe even judging a little bit, right? Like,
Maybe
it's like
even-
Yeah. Like really that outfit?
really.
Really? Yeah.
Oh, boy.
And that's the Specter Moose.
I was trying to see if I could find the thing that said what the business was in 2002, and I can't find it. But I saw something when I was looking at Waldoboro.
Okay, so I do think it's
Wildman.
hilarious though that like, okay, so the first guy didn't shoot at it. The next couple guys that tried to shoot at it are like,
The next like 3.
yeah, they're like, actually, I'm pretty sure it's a ghost. It's like
My bullet bounced off of it.
they're like, it's not because I'm a bad
untouchable.
shot. It's because
It's
because
indestructible.
It's probably yes.
Just
Maybe
like
laugh.
the goblins that you did. They're like, they're bulletproof because we hit them every time we shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I loved it that some people on Reddit were like, "Oh, it's a Patronus."
Oh.
Or do you mean albino moose?
It is.
When was Harry Potter written again?
Harry
Because
Potter
I
was
think-
written in 2000, like the year 2000.
I was like in middle school when it came out, like when
really?
the second book came out.
okay.
Yeah, so like 2000-ish. Yeah.
Around there. Yeah, no, I think that was pretty fun. And I don't think anybody got close enough to it to actually say what color the eyes were. I know that everybody's like hanging on to the idea of it not being an albino moose just because the eyes are brown. But I'm like,
Yeah.
it's probably just an albino moose.
Yes. Agreed.
And it probably doesn't actually glow. It just looks kind of like glowy because it's next to the rest of the woods and everything.
Well, and like such a big creature being like totally white, that would seem pretty fantastical.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially if you see it in person. So I would probably also be stunned into not being able to move.
Well, also, how is it getting through trees with a 15-foot rack?
I don't know. Ask Kaylee.
Well, as a person with a large rack myself, sometimes you just have to shimmy through.
Yeah. Strategic movements. Plan ahead. Grace.
I mean, I also have to say, like, people always exaggerate, when like the classic fisherman where caught maybe like a 6-inch trout, but it's always like a 3-foot trout.
Yeah.
And would they relay it back to you? So
gets bigger with each retelling.
Yeah. So it was probably just your average sized moose. And it just seemed more fantastic because it's albino.
Probably.
Yeah. But how has it been seen for over a century? I don't think moose live that long.
Recessive genes pass on. So it's probably
are we getting all
offspring.
scientific, Haley?
Yeah.
I wanted you to say, because it's not.
Oh, because
it's
it's
paranormal.
spooky.
That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah. I think, do moose live like 20 to 30 years? I think that's their lifespan.
Yeah.
So,
and like if it's seen every like about 20 years, I think I saw that somewhere. Like after the first initial sightings, it was just seen like every couple of decades.
Yeah. So the ghost moose probably lives longer than 20 to 30 years is what you're saying?
Well, it sounds real pretty.
All right. Nettie, do you want to go next or do you want me to go next?
Sure. I'll go next.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm doing the Waldoboro Wildman. And the first reports of the Waldoboro Wildman come from an article written in a newspaper. It was written in the St. Albans Weekly Messenger on February 8th, 1855. And it ended up like being kind of such a fantastical story that a bunch of newspapers picked it up outside of Maine. And this was sort of spread. So I'm going to read you the article. All right. And because I had this article right on hand, I'm about to read it. About a second after I announced I would read it. The title is called A Wild Man in Waldoboro. The following communication relative to the discovery of a wild man in Waldoboro, Maine, was handed to the editor of the Thompson Journal by Mr. J.W. McHenry. The journal says that there are several persons who can vouch for the truth of the statements which it contains. Mr. Editor, so this is McHenry writing to the editor. Mr. Editor, on the morning of January 2nd, while engaged in chopping wood, a short distance from my house, in Waldoboro, I was startled by the most terrific scream that ever greeted my ears. It seemed to proceed from the woods nearby. I immediately commenced searching round for the cause of this unearthly noise, but after a half-hour's fruitless search, I resumed my labors. But had scarcely struck a blow with my axe when the sharp shriek burst out upon the air. Looking up quickly, I discovered an object about 10 rods from me, standing between two trees, which had the appearance of a miniature human being. I advanced toward it, but the little creature fled as I neared it. I gave chase, and after a short run, succeeded in catching it. The little fellow turned a most imploring look upon me, and then uttered a sharp, shrill shriek, resembling the whistle of an engine. I took him to my house and tried to induce him to eat some meat, but failed in the attempt. I then offered him some water, of which he drank a small quantity. I next gave him some dried beech nuts, which he cracked and ate readily. He is of the male species, about 18 inches in height, and his limbs are in perfect proportion. With the exception of his face, hands, and feet, he is covered with hair of a jet black hue. Whoever may wish to see this curious specimen of human nature can gratify their curiosity by calling at my house in the eastern part of Waldoboro, near the Trowbridge Tavern. I give these facts to the public to see if there is anyone who can account for this wonderful phenomenon. J.W. McHenry. So,
Whoa.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So, Now, were there other sightings? Not that are exactly like this creature, but Waldoboro, I believe it's right on the coast. It's like a maritime place. It was actually, it kind of, from the article, it almost sounds like it's this country sort of town, but it was actually really busy. And McHenry said that several people stopped by and saw this creature, but I couldn't find any articles that talk about people saying, I did indeed stop by and see said creature. I didn't find any that said that. So, however, a lot of people think that what they're seeing, because Maine is major Bigfoot and Sasquatch area, is they think that it was perhaps just a small version of a Sasquatch. Some other people say it was definitely a spider monkey.
Oh.
Because it shrieked and yelled like a spider monkey does.
Tried to strong arm it into coming to his house and like eating meat. That's hilarious.
He was like, it's definitely like a man, completely covered in fur. But so it's possible that it was an exotic pet that was maybe brought, especially because their Waldoboro is right on the coast and it was like a shipping maritime city. Maybe someone brought it in on a ship. It got lost. It escaped. It just ended up there in the woods. And this man took it, thought it was basically a little humanoid. I mean, because he said it was like a human, other than completely covered in fur.
Hey, would not be the first time.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, was he charging people money to see this thing?
No. He just wanted people to come and see it.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But there's the Wabanaki tribe is like the indigenous group that lived in that area. And they had like a lot of legends about humanoid type creatures, most of them very large, but still the idea of humanoid creatures in this area is not uncommon.
But I mean, don't humanoid creatures have to grow?
Well, they do. And you wonder how would a baby Sasquatch look?
Yeah.
But they're like other humanoid creatures in New England would be the Wampanoag, which is a 2 to 3 foot tall troll-like creature with it has enlarged features.
Didn't I do that for one of our like Delaware or something?
You did the Pukwudgie.
Yeah.
Pukwudgie. And I think the Pukwudgie and Wampanoag might have some kind of connection.
You know what? It's because when I said Wampanoag, I meant to say Pukwudgie, and it's from the Wampanoag. So that is actually, so let me re-say that. Yes. Actually, I'll just keep it in like that. So Wampanoag was the tribe the Pukwudgie came from, and the Pukwudgie is the creature. And you covered that. What do you remember? Was it Delaware?
Yeah.
I think it might have been Delaware, but I can't say for sure.
And it translates in Wampanoag. Pukwudgie translates to person of the wilderness. So is it possible that this Maine, the Waldoboro Wildman, was actually a Pukwudgie? And often the Pukwudgies, Emily, if you remember, are said to shapeshift. So maybe this little wild man was like caught in a shapeshift and like couldn't change. Yeah. So
interesting.
There have been, I mean, humanoid creatures being sighted. Not uncommon. There's a bunch of others, but as far as reports of the actual wild man with the jet black hair being 18 inches tall, being sighted past this one article, I couldn't find anything. So that is it. That is I
mean, that guy definitely caught something.
Yeah, and he seemed so earnest. And honestly, he was a good writer. He used like alliteration. Like, I don't know if you caught like he had like 4 words in a row that all were like shimmering something. Oh, sharp, shrill, shriek. It was 3.
Oh.
And then uttered a sharp, shrill shriek resembling the whistle of an engine. Like, he really takes you there. Like, I read it and I was like, this is good writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting that it was not, I mean, spider monkey, I don't know very much about monkeys and their diets, but I know that some monkeys are vegetarian. And it makes sense to me that a spider monkey would be like, yeah, give me them nuts, but not be interested in meat.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Interesting.
Well,
that is it.
Thank you, Nettie.
Little tiny
That was
man,
fun.
Wild man of Waldoboro. So,
the Waldoboro Wildman. I love it.
yeah, I thought it was definitely
Sorry,
interesting.
what year was that he wrote that?
1855.
1855.
Wow.
Okay. So nix the sister trip idea to go see that.
Well, I think that they do. They do have a lot of cryptid museums in Maine, and they have exhibits on the Waldoboro Wildman.
There's a few. Cool. There were a couple things I saw when I was just like doing little cursory research that was like, people talking about like my uncle was a logger and he said there was a lot of unexplainable things he saw out in the woods in Maine. It's a mysterious place.
And you're like, please tell me the details of the things. Could you give me your uncle's number?
Yeah.
Just not in the way he hopes.
I just need to talk to him about some of these strange things he's seen.
Okay, well, let me tell you about, this is super fun, the Palmyra Wolves incident.
Okay.
And this was featured on an episode of Paranormal Witness that I was not able to get a hold of and watch.
Oh,
but
darn.
It is, it's a pretty fun story. So,
okay.
Shelley and Eric Martin were a typical couple with, they were not quite empty nesters. One of their adult children had already left the house and came back to visit often. And their other child was 18 but hadn't left the house yet. They had recently downsized their lives and moved because Eric had a workplace injury. He had an injury to 2 or 3 of his discs in his back and was like in severe pain. So he wasn't able to work anymore. And so Shelley was trying to become like the primary breadwinner. So they moved closer to her hometown, which was Palmyra, Maine. And they found this gorgeous old farmhouse in like a rural part of town.
Dream.
Mm-hmm. That was just mildly haunted. You know, like
double dream.
Occasionally saw a young ghost girl with an unhappy face that would wear like, you know, was wearing old timey clothes.
I would work so hard to cheer her up.
Yeah. So, you know, just your typical Palmyra, Maine ghost child haunting in an 1800s rural isolated farmhouse.
Okay.
So in rural Maine, apparently there are, I mean, you know, lots of wildlife, but coyotes are pretty much everywhere. Also, there's something that I had never heard of until I did this research called coy dogs. Have you guys heard of coy dogs?
Isn't that like a coyote dog hybrid?
Yes, it's a coyote mixed with wild dogs, so they're larger than a coyote.
Okay, yeah, I have heard of them.
So, this is, you know, like people will see those kinds of creatures around. So when they moved to this property, they brought Eric enjoyed hunting a lot. He was an avid hunter. They brought his hunting rifles with them. He wanted to keep him in the house, but Shelley was like, I'm not comfortable with that. We've got teens in and out, you know, like that doesn't feel safe. So he ended up building a wooden box and with a lock on it and had it stored in the barn, which was like, you know, across on the edge of their property. And it was an upper area in the barn. So, you know, they had a teenage daughter named Chelsea that still lived with them, and their adult son, Sean, visited often but didn't live with them anymore. So Eric and Shelley had this nightly routine. They would go sit on their porch and, you know, like in the evening or as the sun set, and they would drink coffee together.
Sounds
I know,
nice.
like, sounds so nice.
Change that coffee to a glass of wine and it sounds perfect.
Even better.
Exactly what I was thinking. I don't know if they were doing decaf or if they just like are immune to the effects of caffeine in the evening time, but they had their routine of drinking coffee together in the evening, and they would just kind of like look out over their gorgeous property. Like they couldn't see other houses. It was pretty isolated.
That sounds so nice.
Yeah, they just would have like these peaceful moments together at the end of every day.
Some people are just not affected by caffeine at night. And like an after dinner, isn't it called like an aperitif or something like
aperitif?
After
the truth
dinner.
is, I'm not actually that affected by caffeine. Like I could probably, I've not really had coffee at night, but if I have like a Diet Coke or something in the evening, it doesn't really impact my alertness or like, you know, like it doesn't keep me from falling asleep.
I've noticed
So, you know.
I'll fall asleep okay, but I will wake up at like 3 or 4 a.m. if I have caffeine too late. And then I'll just be awake for a few hours. And then as soon as my kids need me, I fall right back asleep. I'm sorry.
Perfect. So as they were enjoying their evening coffee one evening, they spotted something unusual. They saw this kind of pulsating light in the tree line. And they said it was odd. It was almost like on then off, but with a rhythm of breathing. And they were like, okay, this is weird. Their adult son, Sean, was there. So Eric grabs Sean and they're like, let's go out and take a look. Like maybe it's poachers like on our property and we can just go be like, hey, you're not supposed to be here. Go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So Sean and Eric kind of start to go out and take a look. And they call out, they're like, hey, get out of here. This is private property. And as Eric and Sean start walking into the dense forest, the lights faded. The lights that they were out there to investigate. And as they were walking through this dense brush, they started to hear footsteps walking parallel to them, but they couldn't see anything.
Creepy.
So
I don't like that very
they got
much.
kind of freaked out. And so they were like, let's get out of here. Like they felt this dread. So they went back to the house. About a month later, Chelsea, who was the 18-year-old daughter, and her boyfriend Nathan took the dogs out. The dogs had been cooped up in the house. They let the dogs off the leash and they were running around in the woods and they were kind of just, like letting the dogs roam. But the dogs seemed to get a little bit spooked and they found this weird, deep into the woods outside their house, they found this weird, almost like den or lair that looked intentionally built. It was like a hole into the ground, but it had like sticks kind of propped up around the entrance and like moss. And it was like
it looked like it had a human touch. It wasn't something that animals would create, either a beaver or a human.
Like it wasn't naturally occurring, I guess is what they meant. Yeah, but yeah, like it was like, it wasn't like a rotted out tree stump hole or something. It was like placed there.
Okay.
Weird. And the dogs are acting weird. And, they're like, okay, like start to kind of like look and try to like look down into it and investigate. And they heard like a terrifying, deep, low growl. And they're like, okay, nope, let's get out of here. So they like, go back to the house. And they're like, we don't know what that was, but that was kind of freaky. They tell the other family members. And that's when Sean and Eric were like, okay, yeah, like we had that weird experience a little while ago. So they're like, okay, weird, but they don't dwell on it too much. But not long after that, this was Labor Day weekend 2007. Eric and Shelley were, once again enjoying their evening routine on the porch with their coffee. It was a slightly foggy evening, and they were just quietly chatting and looking out over the property when they suddenly realized that the night noises were gone. They had completely disappeared. It was silent.
Oh, that's
There were no
scary.
crickets chirping, like no birds chirping, like nothing, no sounds.
Yeah.
So Shelley turns on her flashlight and she uses it to kind of scan across the tree line. And she saw 6 eyes reflecting back at her, like a yellowish green. She couldn't see pupils.
Nope.
Yikes.
Like, they were kind of freaked out. They looked slightly like wolves almost, but their noses were flatter and their ears were like this weird shape that started at the jaw and came up to a higher point above the head.
It started at the jaw?
Yes, their ears started at the jaw.
Almost like a
Human-like and
bat.
bat-like.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it sounds, actually, that does kind of sound like what they described. And they didn't say bat, but that does sound kind of like it. And the creatures had been crawling low to the ground, but when she spotted them and like put the flashlight beam on them, they stood upright on their hind legs.
Oh my gosh.
And they were over 7 feet tall when they stood upright.
oh my gosh.
2 of the creatures were covered in short, dark brown fur, and one of them was a lighter brown fur.
But this is reminding me of the Kentucky gravediggers. They had the ears. I mean, they just had bat-like face. So, but they were also like brown fur, crawling low underground. Anyway, carry on. But that's what it made
2
me
with
think
darker
of.
fur, 1 with lighter fur, and the fur was like cropped pretty short on the body, but it was like wilder and longer on the head part. Okay. So like, I mean, almost like there was some like wolf manscaping going on from the neck down or something.
They'd all been to the salon.
They'd been, yeah, they take care of themselves.
Or maybe
Let's just say
the
that.
The
barbershop.
Wolfman Salon.
The Wolfman Salon.
So as they were looking at those two creatures, two other creatures appeared on this side as if they were trying to sneak up on them from another direction.
What?
So,
Oh, I'm so jealous.
as soon as they clocked these other two, they also stood up on their hind legs like the others.
Oh my gosh.
So terrified, obviously, Eric and Shelley are like, we got to get inside. So they get inside the house as quickly as they can. The creatures like dash towards them terrifyingly fast. And Eric and Shelley are then certain that they are being targeted by these creatures. So they get inside the door, they shut the door behind them, they're freaking out. They're like, what are these things? They're not bears, they're not wolves. Like, Eric is an experienced hunter. He has seen all kinds of creatures, and he's like, these are not bears or wolves. Shelley noted that the creatures didn't look awkward or clumsy when they ran on their two hind legs. Their posture was pretty upright, except their neck could use some improvement. They were a little hunched at the neck. Shoulders down, shoulders back. Helps with looking confident, honestly.
So they moved like a creature that's accustomed to being bipedal.
Yes.
That's used to moving bipedally. Like humans or apes or Sasquatch.
So Eric and Shelley's teen daughter, Chelsea, was upstairs in bed. Shelley runs upstairs to wake her, and she's like, oh my gosh, look out the window. And they look out there, and they see the 5 creatures out on the gravel driveway. They're on all fours again, but they're lined up perfectly in line, just facing the house, like facing the door that Eric and Shelley had run into. One of the creatures must have noticed movement at the window because it looked right at them and stood on its hind legs again. So this time Shelley, like they ducked down. She said that this time it looked like it was 8 feet tall. Like she's like, her number grew. I don't know if this is exaggeration from fear, but she's like, it looked like it was 8 feet tall. So they duck. They're terrified. Shelley realizes that she does not know where her dogs are. So,
oh no.
She goes to look for them, fearing, like, she's like, did I leave them outside? Like, where are they? They're usually like, they're hunting dogs. They're usually pretty protective. They're, like, they'll alert if there's any danger.
Yeah.
She finds them in the laundry room,
just
cowered together, just like whimpering and terrified.
Well,
this is not typical for their dogs.
I guess that's what they get for getting wussy dogs instead of big tough ones.
No, they were big hunting dogs. They were tough dogs. They just were. There's something about these creatures.
Hey,
don't judge their dogs.
I was just kidding. I love their dogs.
Okay. Good. Me too. They seem nice. So Eric, meanwhile, is getting like a little frustrated about the family plan to keep the guns in the barn so far away from the actual house.
He's like, guys, I really wish we would have rethought this before right now when we need to get to them.
So he's like, should I run? Like, this is backfiring spectacularly to not have the guns in the house to be able to protect my family. Like, should I try to run and get them? And Shelley's like, are you nuts? No, you should not. So while Shelley's running around the house, making sure all the windows are shut, because it was a nice evening, like early September, they had windows open. So she's running around trying to make sure all the windows are shut. Eric's like, I'm going to execute my secret plan by myself really quick while Shelley's not looking. So
Eric, I don't know.
He decides to go outside to run and he wants to go get the truck and back it up so the family can run out and get in the truck. Mm-hmm. But as he's out there, he like gets kind of freaked out and drops his keys. And then when he stands up, the motion sensor light shines on him. And he realizes that one of the creatures had come like almost face to face with him. But when the motion sensor light shone on it, it froze. So he's like, okay, wait, is the light somehow like impacting them? But he like realizes his plan is super dumb. So he like runs back into the house, shuts the door behind him, didn't get the car over to the house. He's like, there's no way I can get to the barn. There's no way I can get the guns. And like, I really probably can't even get into the truck, So Eric is back in the house, has shut the door. He hears creatures follow after him and bound up onto the porch and are like clawing at the door right after he shuts it.
Terrifying.
So
are they glowing at all?
No, there wasn't any other than the eyes being a little bit kind of illuminated. That I don't think anything else
other
was
than
glowing.
that pulsating glow that they saw at the beginning that made them want to go investigate. There was no other. Okay.
There was no other light. So I don't know what that
I wonder if it
came
was
from.
Their
a
ship.
spaceship. Yeah. I wonder if these are alien dog hybrids
be.
or just like dog aliens.
Could be. Oh, and I forgot to mention too that like in addition to their like short body hair and wild head hair and like weird shaped features in their face, their tails are shorter than they should be. So like for the body length, the tail should normally be like quite long because it's like a balance mechanism. But their tails were like less than a foot long. It was like oddly short for their bodies. That's another thing that Shelley noticed.
Huh.
So all 3 family members are back inside. They start to hear the creatures on the wraparound porch. They're like kind of banging at the house, clawing at the house. They hear them up on the roof. After a while, they see them back in their position, all in a row, facing the house, waiting. They call the police, and the police are like, it's probably a moose. You know, like, go to bed. Lock your doors and go to bed. So the police are like not helpful.
They're
So
like,
the
this
family-
animal you're describing with no antlers is most likely a moose.
So basically, the family barricades themselves inside the house. They're like, you know, some accounts say that they have weapons, that they're like, you know, basically trying to prop stuff up against doors just to keep themselves safe. And they hear the creatures trying to get in, like, basically all night.
This just reminds me so much of the Hopkinsville goblin story, except for scarier.
Except scary, yes.
Because I felt like
scarier.
I kept feeling like I feel like if you went out and talked to the Hopkinsville goblins, that they would just like communicate with you. But I feel like these things want to tear you limb from limb.
Yeah, they're not like trying to caress your hair like the Hopkinsville goblins were.
I mean, I guess they never gave them a chance, but yeah.
They did not give
so
those
they
goblins a
also
chance.
said though that okay, so in addition to like moving super fast and like, you know, being terrifying looking, they were making these grunting, communicating noises. Like it sounded like they had a language and were able to talk to each other. More than just like wolves being like, or like, you know, like animal sounds that you hear. They said it felt like they had like a sophisticated sense of communication.
Wow.
Like way to communicate with each other.
Okay.
So like, and then they were like planning, like trying to plan and like make like, you know,
They're like, hey,
make
Steve,
a plan to get in.
I'm going to get to this door. Kevin, you go to that door.
Wow,
Perfect.
such unique alien names.
Yeah. Steve and
It
Kevin.
was Kevin and Steve?
Yes.
Oh, I'm glad you know their names.
Oh, yeah.
So before the sun came up, they heard the creatures leave the roof and leave the porch. And after about an hour of silence, when they were pretty sure that the creatures were no longer trying to get in, they were exhausted, but they got up and they ventured outside. And what they saw were these crazy large tracks, like animal tracks with big claws showing sometimes bipedal, sometimes quadrupedal gaits across their property and claw marks all over the doors near the windows
Oh my
on the
gosh.
roof where these creatures had tried to get in.
Are
They
there
found
photos?
Tufts. No. There were tufts of hair like on fence posts and on like, you know, different areas of the property where, you know,
Oh, how could they not? What year did you say this was?
2006.
Oh, so this was actually recent. I cannot believe they didn't get photos of like
Seriously.
the footprints.
So not long after this, the Martin family decided to give up their lease and move away from this property.
I want to buy it.
Yeah, let's move there. Yeah, podcasting headquarters. Sorry.
Well, so this story, as I told you, was shared on the TV show
Paranormal
on
Witness.
Sci-Fi Network, Paranormal Witness, but also it was shared on a radio show called I-95 Rocks, and they had a caller call in, and this caller, it was a guy named Justin, and he was like, I lived in the werewolf house.
No way.
He was like, I lived there for 2 years. And he was like, I did not see the werewolves, but let me tell you, that house is evil.
Oh.
Well, so while he didn't ever lay eyes on, you know, those wolf things, he said that he often heard howling at night and they had so much paranormal activity in the house. Stuff would fly off the shelves. Paint cans were stacked in the basement and they would hear something as if it was dragging like its fingernails across the half-empty paint cans, you know, making that like sound.
Oh, I was really hoping you would imitate the sound, and you did.
I did.
Because in my
best.
mind, I was going, how would we imitate that? And in my mind, I went, thwappa, thwappa, thwappa.
Yeah. The wap, you know what? You choose which sound is more accurate. The wappa is really,
I
really
actually
good.
do think Haley's editing this episode. I think I'm editing the fuff. I think she's editing Maine Cryptids. So you get to decide. And Haley's like, and it will all be in.
Keeping it in.
So doors would fly open, and they even once felt something like slap the pillow next to their head as they were laying by it, and with a wind rushing by their face.
Terrifying.
The TV would turn on in the middle of the night. And one time in broad daylight, his wife was going into the laundry room to do laundry, and 2 laundry baskets that were on top of the dryer, scooted off into midair and then just dropped straight to the ground.
Oh my gosh.
I need to know who owns this house now.
And can we
where
stay
is
there?
it?
I hope it's
Let's
a scare
figure it
B&B.
Let's try to go meet that little ghost girl. And then one time his wife had lost her keys, and she was searching up and down for the keys and called their husband. She was like, have you seen my keys? And he was like, this sounds hokey, but have you thought about asking the ghosts to return them? So the wife was like, okay. So she was like, okay, please return my keys. And she found them on the coffee table where she'd already looked multiple times.
Wow.
That isn't crazy.
Yeah. Yes. And I've heard so many cases in hauntings where people's stuff just goes missing and they have to actually kind of sort of ask
for it.
the ghost.
Mm-hmm. And the scariest one is that they would see ghosts standing at the foot of their bed. There was a woman in a Victorian nightgown that they would see sometimes, and a man that they said was 6'7" and dressed as a woodsman that would be so close to their bed it would be like his knees were touching the side of the bed.
Nettie, what was your husband doing there?
Yeah, why was he there?
Listen.
So they eventually moved, not because they were freaked out, but because they got a different job and had to relocate.
Wow.
But he said that when they were doing their final cleaning of the house, the spirits whispered that his cleaning job was perfect.
Oh my gosh. Oh, see, that would be so validating.
Mm-hmm.
You did a nice job.
The approval that we needed.
So what do you think was stalking the Martin family
Okay,
home that night?
I have a thought.
You think it was aliens?
I think it was the Egyptian god Anubis.
Oh.
Because if you think of Egyptian hieroglyphs, and this is what I pictured when you said that the lady said that they actually moved gracefully bipedally. The Egyptian god Anubis is the head and shoulders of a dog, large ears. And it's hard to tell from the hieroglyphs or petroglyphs, or what are they? In Egyptian,
Hieroglyphics?
Is it hieroglyphs in Egypt? It's hard to tell exactly what where the ears start, but let's go into the deeper conspiracy that the tombs, that the Egyptian pyramids and tombs were built by aliens, because seriously, how the heck? There's just no possible way humans did that unless they had some way to move these rocks with. It would be almost impossible to do it today,
right?
With all the technology we have.
This was Anubis, and that Anubis is an alien.
I do.
You could be right.
I think it's an Anubis type creature. I think maybe Anubis in the Egyptian hieroglyphs was an alien, and I think that maybe that's what we were seeing. Although
the lady also said that the upper thighs were musclier and larger than a dog's upper thigh would be, like a muscly man thigh.
In the picture of Anubis, he's got a human body. That's the only difference. It's that's a statue of Anubis, right? Very here. Could you send that? I don't know why I'm asking you to send it. I can send it. Here, Haley, you do this. But just the sort of description of them moving, it just popped into my mind.
Yeah, interesting theory. I like
ghosts
that.
were telling me. So, anyways, I'm sending it to our sister chat. But the pulsating light that you talked about at the beginning, I think that was the landing. And then
could be.
I think that maybe the hole where you saw the sticks was where they hid the ship. Mm-hmm. And then I think that maybe that was that discovery thing where maybe light bothers them in some way because they froze when the motion detector light came on, and then they were gone by sunrise. So they could be some kind of vampiric creature, or maybe light bothers them, or they were just told by their moms, hey, you get home from Earth, no messing around. You are home. You get off that planet before the sun rises. You hear me?
Yeah. Like it was like a frat of these Anubis people harassing his family.
But it wasn't just one night. It was like 3 separate evenings that they encountered weird things.
So they might have like holed up in that cave.
Maybe.
Or something. Yeah, that is the craziest story.
I think it was some sort of dog bat creature.
Yeah.
And,
on a ghost tour, trying to go through the little...
That looks like a dog bat.
Well, but you called it Anubis.
Yeah.
I'm thinking dog bat. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just
messing around. It is interesting how much it sound like the description of the ears made me think of a bat. Mm-hmm. And that reminded me so much of the Kentucky grave diggers, especially with the way they described the brown ones, like the fur.
Yeah.
And I even think the Kentucky grave diggers, they said more hair on the head. But I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I thought that was a fun story. Even if it's, like, who knows? Everybody on Reddit was like, it sounds like drugs.
Sounds like drugs. Oh, man.
That's pretty crazy. I am a little suspicious of the lack of photo evidence.
Yeah. Although I do think about
what was in their evening coffee,
Like 2006, though, I didn't have a smartphone yet. Like, I know some people did, but not everybody did.
I didn't.
Like
I had a flip phone.
I got
an
a digital
iPad
camera for sure
in 2008, I think. Mm-hmm. Like our first Apple product was 2008, and then not long after that, we got our first iPhones. So like we didn't have cameras with us all the time, and we were sitting outside.
I had a digital camera that I kept like in my purse at all times because like Facebook had like just come out, and me and my college roommate Ashley like totally were taking photos of each other all the time with our digital cameras, loading them onto our laptops, loading the photos from our laptops onto Facebook.
Yeah, but you would have been the age of like Chelsea, the 18-year-old daughter, not the age of the parents, Shelley and Eric, who probably weren't trying to be all over Facebook yet.
Yeah, I never had my digital. I had a digital camera, but I had to like mindfully bring it with me. It's not like I had it with me ever.
Nerds.
Yeah, I mean, I think to me at that time, it doesn't feel super suspicious that there wasn't evidence, like photographic evidence. But
yeah, I guess I'm surprised they didn't go take pictures of the footprints the next morning, or maybe they did.
I wonder, maybe they
or like
did. I don't
with
know.
Those cameras that you could buy that you like did the wheel thing, and then take a photo. Disposable cameras. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. What a crazy story.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Well,
pretty wild, Emily.
Yeah, totally wild.
Well, I guess who's taking us out?
And also, Emily, wonderful job.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Good job and wild story.
Good job to you too. Wild stories and good jobs all around.
I forgot who brought us in.
It was me.
Okay. You probably take us out because didn't I take us out of the last one?
Sure. I'll do it. Thank you for listening. We are the Spooky Darlings, and you can find us on social media at the Spooky Darlings podcast on TikTok and Instagram. And if you have
YouTube.
And YouTube. And if you have any spooky stories or a cryptid experience of your own, please email us at thespookydarlings@gmail.com. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Goodbye.
5 stars. 5 Palmyra Wolves.
5 bats.
Oh yeah, 5.
Wait, Emily said what was that?
5 creatures.
Okay, so show us your pics.
Well, okay, here's the first one. Okay, wait, did that send?
Yes.
Wait, for real?
That's crazy.
That's as far as I got on the first one. Let me see what I got on the second one. Like I just got real frustrated actually.
You're like, I'm scribbling out Nettie's face. I'm putting devil horns on myself, scribbling out Nettie, and leaving Haley
me alone.
There's this one. No.
Oh boy. What's
it got
even
worse,
going
guys.
on?
I couldn't figure out how to use the tools. And it was too late and I was tired. But I already worked all day and then I came home and spent like 5 or 6 hours working on my research. And I just was like, couldn't.
Good night.
No.
You said good night, self.
Oh gosh.
Good night. Good night.
Good night,
Good night to me.
Oh man.
Wait, are we recording Maine Cryptids? No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good night.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Good night.
Should I be doing anything this morning?
I'm going to play the piano.
I should sit down and mess around with the Nord. You know what I did is I tried to remember how to play On My Own by ear.
Oh,
And then I tried it
perfect.
with all the different keyboard sounds I could try and in different keys because I couldn't remember what key it was in.
Before we disappear into the shadows, don't forget, we're still sending out vinyl stickers. Leave us a rating and review and email us proof to thespookydarlings@gmail.com, along with your mailing address, and we'll send you some spooky snail mail while supplies last. And if your heart is still mourning that tote bag, may we gently tempt your way toward our merch store at thespookydarlings.printful.me. Treat yourself. You deserve it. Thanks for listening. And as always, stay spooky.